you go back to 2007, probably a little bit before as well, SEO was done in your bedroom. We had the right people in the right place ready to push forward in startup mode and grow the business. Culture's a funny one for me. It's like you can look at values on a wall, or you can have a handbook, but culture is actually driven by the main actions and behaviours of leadership in a business. It really is, and that's why a bad leadership team or leader can have a massive impact on the culture of a business.
Our guest today is Tim Grice. Tim has been active in the search marketing field since 2007, starting in affiliate marketing and moving into SEO consulting. In 2010, he joined Branded 3, one of the most recognizable SEO agencies in the UK, as head of search, eventually guiding the business as CEO after the acquisition by Kin and Carta PLC. In 2019, Tim set up his own agency, Connective 3, a digital performance agency driving growth for brands in the UK, US, and Europe. The agency has grown to 100 people in 4 years, with further plans to expand internationally. Tim Grice, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Steve.
I'm very much looking forward to this, my friend. We've had really good conversations off air, if you will, and I really want to jump right into the heart of your background, which is search. And I know you began your career in 2007, which, if it's not a billion years ago, it's like a million years ago, right?
Oh, yeah, it feels like a long time ago. Yeah,
exactly. So let's start there. What's been the biggest changes? And let's start in the SEO industry from then till now.
Well, if you go back to 2007, probably a little bit before as well, SEO was done in your bedroom. You know, you did the technical analysis, you did the basic optimizations, and you bought some links. And that was pretty much how it went for everyone I knew. As you said, I started in affiliate marketing. So then I was doing every single kind of link buy-in manipulation scheme you could possibly think of to rank my sites. I think the biggest changes for me, there's a lot of changes, to be fair. The basics is still there in terms of the principles, but in terms of the industry, I believe there's been some fundamental changes. A lot of them came into play in the early sort of 2011 to 2014 when we had Panda and Penguin, and we had to start thinking a little bit differently around links and how we built them. We, like many agencies at the time, were caught up in that kind of world of what do we do if we're not, paying bloggers, getting links on blogs and that kind of thing. So our clients, as you can imagine, weren't happy with drops and penalties and things like that. So I think that shifted our mindset. I know that, it's still a tactic used, and if it works, I'm not one of these people that is, judgmental about tactics. But I think that was a big shift for us as we moved away from buying them to doing marketing campaigns that generated links. And we moved into the world of digital PR, which was a move from then, which gathered momentum over probably the next 5 to 6 years, to the point where now I would say it's as big as, if not bigger, than traditional link building in the UK, certainly anyway. So that shift in how you acquire links was forced by Google, although it's not being policed as far as we can see anymore, other than by automated algorithms that they say is working in the background. But that was a massive shift in terms of the way agencies worked in SEO's thought. I think the other shift for me is SEO back then was something you paid someone to do, you checked your rankings, and if the rankings were going up, SEO was good. Now it's much more of a business case. It's like, well, this is, it's not cheap to invest in SEO anymore. And it needs to be a full business case that is normally goes all the way up to C-suite. So you have to think really carefully about what you're delivering, prioritization, and building out a firm forecast and business case for the work you're doing, so that you can correctly not just sell in SEO, but implement SEO. So it's grown up, it's matured, and it is now a firm channel within a lot of most businesses these days, I would say.
Yeah.
So they're the two shifts. It's grown up and it's become a proper marketing channel, which needs some real business thinking around it.
Thank you for that. That's amazing. Obviously a lot has changed since 2007, but I'm really curious to get your thoughts, given your background. I put you in front of a room of marketers, hypothetically. What are some misconceptions about SEO that you'd want to get across to them?
I'm not sure it's necessarily misconceptions, but I think some marketing teams and businesses will have a lack of understanding about what it is. So naturally, they are suspicious about what it is. Does it really drive value? Can they get these rankings without doing SEO? Is this just about building brands and building businesses, which there is an element of that. So I think I would show them actually what goes into it and why it's important. And this is what I was kind of saying about the business case. We aren't just building links. We're building links to provide rankings, traffic. This is what we think we can achieve from that rankings and traffic to then build the business. I think there's a misconception that, there always has been, that it's a bit of a dark art. And I think that's the case because Google, it's not like the paid side of Google, where Google will give you all the information you need to give them advertising money, which makes complete sense. With SEO, they will just say, you need to create great content and people need to link to you. And that's all the information you get really from Google, with a few exceptions here and there. So I think kind of explaining why it is important and the impact you've had from your own experience and case studies is what you need to do. So I would sit in front of them and say, we had this business, we did this, this, and this, which directly caused this. And this is why it's really important for the business. Just to try and shed some light on why the seemingly dark art tactics actually aren't that dark art, and they drive proper business performance and growth. I do think a lot of businesses now understand that and they can see how valuable it is to them as a business. But yeah, I would show firm case studies in simple terms that show the business impact of the work being done on the SEO side.
Right. Let me go back to what you said earlier about the biggest changes since 2007, right?
Yeah.
When you launched in 2019, Connective 3, if you could go back, what impact did those changes have, when you had on your proposition when launching Connective 3 in 2019? What'd you say?
The immediate and most obvious one was we went in heavy on digital PR. We have a brilliant director in the business who is not only well known, but extremely good at his job and delivering campaigns and tactics around digital PR. We knew that was going to be a big focus for us, and we nailed it really, because that team is the biggest in the business. It grew the fastest. It accounts for almost 40% of our business, digital PR. So we knew we had to invest early in that and ride that wave of interest and expertise in the digital PR area of Connective 3. As the name might suggest as well, Connective 3. SEO is best done now with visibility and insights from other channels. So if you can understand what is happening with your paid account, what's driving the results, what keywords are working, what audiences are working, it informs not only your content marketing and the pages that you're optimizing and wanting to rank for, because you know what converts already from your paid channels. It does all of that. And if it's not connected, you can still do SEO and you can still say, well, lots of people are searching and are likely to buy on this particular keyword. But as data starts to be removed, it's more important that these channels are connected. So the tech teams from the SEO need to inform the digital PR teams where the links are going to work best to drive results, because it's no good just building links anywhere on a website. Your paid team need to work with your organic team to help them understand actually what is the business value to some of these areas, whether it's keywords, audiences, tactics, whatever. So even though we do work in specialist areas, some clients just do organic, some clients just do digital PR, some clients just do paid media. It's that shared information and knowledge which just drives a better result out of the back of everything you do. So that's how we kind of set up our proposition and the name, Connective 3. So that we could pull this information together and have teams working together, which is actually quite a rarity when you look at some of the bigger agencies. That's still extremely siloed as far as I can tell.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, they are. Trust me. There's a reason. I always half jokingly say the word silo. There's a reason silo is a 4-letter word. So it's not a good thing.
It's just, I guess it's from a P&L point of view and cost centers, but from a working strategy and deliverable point of view, it is quite harmful really to the end result.
Without question. Without question. So you've done an amazing job. You've gotten to 100 people, I believe, in 4 years at your agency.
Yes.
What factors have been critical to that? And, what advice would you give to some other, agency owners who's starting out kind of thing?
Firstly, we as a team, I got a team together of people. So I guess it comes down to the right people, but a team together of people who are specialists in their areas, who are keen to work together, who had built up relationships with clients before, who had delivered amazing results for clients before and already have that reputation. So I feel like we did have a jump start from starting from scratch with you just trying to get into this game. So we had the right people in the right place ready to push forward in startup mode and grow the business. The other side to it is when we started the business, we took investment from the guys that previously owned Branded Tree, Vin and Patrick, which allowed us to be less focused on, I say less focused on, but we weren't worried about taking what money the business made at the end of the year necessarily. Obviously we are, but we weren't doing it we weren't doing it to pay ourselves a salary. We had some investment, which allowed us then to take a bit of a risk, but invest in our sales and marketing from day one, which not many businesses are able to do at the level that we did. And that allowed us to be really growth focused. We had a really clear vision on where we wanted to be. We never, made no apologies for wanting to grow and be big. And we invested in that sales and marketing model from day one, which took some time to get going. I'm not going to lie. It took a bit of you go into the unknown a bit, because when you do marketing, you see the results 6-12 months later. So we had to really sort of trust our instinct that it would work long term. So we invested in that early days as well. So the right people with real passion for their specialist areas and with a willingness to work together, and then a real investment in sales and marketing, and everyone that came into the business, and we still do. Growth is our business. We are a growth business. We want to grow. We believe that growth delivers opportunities for people in the business, and this is why it's really important to us. And I think that kind of mantra and having good people working together with a little bit of luck as well. COVID might have seemed like a nightmare for a lot of people, and it was for us early days, but actually it moved people online, and it helped people understand the importance of being online and doing things right. And there was a wave of obviously investment in online while lockdown was happening in the UK particularly. And that helped propel us, and our messaging really resonated. So yeah, we grew very fast. By the end of year one, I think we were already 30 plus people. So we really benefited from that. But yeah, good people, a vision of growth, and you're not wanting, a lot of people see sales as a bit of a dirty word, especially in the UK market, I think. But we were like, no, we know sales is important. We know marketing is important. We know we do great work. Let's just bring it together and not be ashamed of that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think you said this to me off the air, but I think 35% of your work currently comes from the US, right? And I'm curious, what are the key differences in the market from an SEO point of view?
So, first of all, the US work that we get is typically, we have a little bit of paid, but it's typically organic and digital PR, which is kind of what I was alluding to earlier in terms of the link building side. That's just come through LinkedIn connections, people seeing our marketing. We don't have any presence in the UK at all, in the US, at all. So that's just come through our marketing and ability to deliver. We've delivered some great results, and a lot of clients we've kept on the US side. The big difference for me, I was in New York in February this year, Texas in March, I believe, could have been a bit later. And I spoke with CMOs and VPs of marketing and all that kind of thing. And the big difference for me in the market is, well, there's lots of differences, but one of the biggest is the digital PR thing. Again, sorry to keep going on about it, but it's not as well known and it's not as well practiced in the US, as far as I can see, at least anyway. We'd be speaking with people about it and they'd be like, tell us more about this. What is it? And it just hasn't. In the UK now, it's, as I said, probably more popular than the term link building. In the US, I don't feel like it is at the minute, but I do believe there's a huge opportunity, because when we've worked with US businesses in the US media market, the opportunities to deliver wide-reaching press and links from mainstream press is almost unlimited and untapped. And I just think it's huge. So we've jumped on that a little bit. There are differences as well in kind of how the businesses operate. It's it's very state-driven. So instead of in the UK is the UK, and you can work with anyone from London to Edinburgh. In the US, we were speaking with agencies that were huge and worked within one state. So it's such a bigger market. It's massive. So trying to tap into it properly is going to take a bit of thinking from us, I think, in terms of how we do that. But yeah, those were the key differences, really. I think the fundamentals of SEO, tech, content, and the needing to make sure everything else is optimized that way, it's very similar. Good knowledge, lots of good thought leadership coming out of the US, which we all like to read and jump on. So
interesting. You referenced COVID earlier, and I want to expand on that, even though we're now, I guess, close to coming up on 5 years removed, give or take. What impact did it have, and what impact does it still have?
Well, the impact it had immediately when everyone was locked down in March 2020, over in the UK at least anyway, was everybody shut their budgets off. So as a new business started out, we were panicking. We didn't know what we were going to do exactly. There was a lot of uncertainty, and we just had to double down and follow our plan through for better or worse. So that was the immediate impact of COVID. After a couple of months, as I said, I think people came to terms with the idea that, physical contact and going into stores was not an option for the immediate future, and pushed them into digital, which meant investment went into there for businesses as they tried to kind of see their way through COVID, which put a lot of more people online, put a lot more focus online and their digital assets and channels, and it sent a lot of business. A lot of agencies grew over here in the UK during that COVID period because there was more people looking to invest in that area. And I think the follow-on impact of that has been, it's more important than ever because people understand the value now because they've had to do during that lockdown period, and therefore there's a lot more scrutiny on it as a channel as well. So you can't get away with doing bare minimum anymore. You can't get away with not showing business impact and growth. You have to really stand up and be counted now when you're doing SEO work. So that's kind of been the impact from COVID. It's just much more mainstream now and much more of a business channel than something you do on the side to try and drive a bit of growth.
Yeah. Hey, sorry for the interruption. We're going to get back to our show in one quick second, but stay with me. If you're in the need for anything SEO and or link building related, you need to do yourself one quick favor. You need to go to the website that's on the screen right now, stanventures.com. Go there, tell them Steve O sent you. The rest will take care of itself. Trust me, you can thank me later. Well, speaking of growth, we've already covered, you've gone through some very fast, rapid growth. I'm curious, and for everybody, watching, listening, how does that type of fast growth impact culture?
It does. No, it really does. So culture's a funny one for me. It's like you can look at values on a wall, or you can have a handbook. But culture is actually driven by the main actions and behaviors of leadership in a business. It really is. And that's why a bad leadership team or leader can have a massive impact on the culture of a business. However, yes, of course, as you add new people in, lots of new people in a quick amount of time, it has a cultural impact on the business as you learn to deal and work with these different people. And especially, sorry to go back to it, but COVID, when all of a sudden you're not face-to-face anymore, you're actually working over Teams and actually looking to people to take more accountability and work from home and deliver their work without any face-to-face supervision. So it was more difficult to keep that cultural element in line during that time and during the quick growth. And it's always going to be a slog. Culture is always going to be a challenge as you grow. The way we do it is we have a very firm set of behaviors that we expect from ourselves as leaders and from the team and people we bring in that feed into our recruitment process, that feed into our reviews, and that feed into our general communications with the business as a whole. We call it, it's a bit cheesy, really, we call it our team and mentality. And that's not to say everybody needs to be the boss or a leader or C-suite. What we're saying is these behaviors, we believe, create an A-team mentality. And it's things like I was saying, like being growth focused, taking responsibility for your learning, and understanding more than anything that you get respect by what you bring to a business and not what you take, and helping that kind of mentality in the business. And if someone isn't of that kind of persuasion or doesn't like it, that's not to say that we've got anything against it and we're saying what we're doing is right and the pinnacle of everything, but that's what we need for our business. That's who we are. And it's important that we bring people on that understand that. So we do make a point of constantly communicating what behaviors we value as a business, which helps everybody understand what's expected and maybe what's wrong or right for them as well. It's a challenge. It's difficult. You come up against people are the most difficult thing to work with as a product, which is what agencies do because they're so complex, but I love it. And I think we've done a good job of maintaining it over the years.
You have to love it, right? I know that sounds obvious, but you really do. You have to love it. There's no choice, put simply. So you mentioned agencies. Let's put your forecasting hat on for a second.
Okay.
Looking 1, 3, 5, however number of years, what are the biggest challenges coming for agencies?
I'd put it into two camps, and they're kind of both related to each other for me. There's a huge problem with data at the minute. So as you will know, privacy, cookieless experiences and all that kind of thing are playing havoc with the advertising world. You can no longer go into a platform and extract all that data and then laser target the people that you want and optimize in the same way. You have to use your own first party data now, which is a job of getting the data for some businesses. I'm not going to lie, some businesses have never really invested in it because the platforms have had everything you need to optimize. So there's that part of it. And there's also businesses using their CRM data to help inform and optimize their advertising. Getting that data and getting the most out of your ad spend is becoming more and more challenging. And I can only see that getting worse and worse in terms of the ability to do that. So that for me, the data side of it and the lack of data coming back from the platforms and what you can see and can't see in terms of what's working is a huge challenge. And I think a lot of businesses aren't ready for it at all at the minute, and therefore probably aren't as efficient as they could be. So we do a lot of work with clients to try and help move that along and understand as best we can where we need to put money, where we need to optimize, so on. Because of that lack of data, creativity in agencies for me is going to be huge in the next 2 to 3 years, because the only way you can test and measure without data is testing your creative and your messaging and seeing how well people respond to it. So for me, you need to up your creative game, which we're trying to do at pace, and you need to have at least the ability to work with clients on refining that data and helping them understand the best way to use it. Otherwise, you are literally working blind when it comes particularly to the paid side. That's where it really hurts. But as I just said, that filters into every part of your strategy, whether it's your content, whether it's your tech priorities, and even your digital PR output or link building output. It will have an effect on them too, but major effects on paid, where media budgets are in the millions, as you know, and you can easily waste a lot of money.
Yep. Last question. Where's Connective 3 over the next 5 years? What are your plans for that, for the agency?
So, as I said, we have no apologies for wanting to, grow and challenge the bigger networks and the agencies, and that is firmly our plan. We have done really well. We've run the business efficiently and sensibly. And we will go on a journey now to grow through acquisitions as well as organic growth as well within the businesses. So we've just recently made an acquisition, actually, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Again, playing into the creative side, we've acquired content creation business over in the UK to help up our content game and give us a more creative way of producing content, both for advertising and for web content. We will continue that journey of acquisition over the next 5 to 6 years as we look to add complementary agencies into the group, which help us really deliver exceptional performance for our clients, but also exceptional creativity. So I would say 5 to 8 acquisitions over the next 5 years, which is going to be fun, come with its challenges. And as part of that, we really looking at how we expand outside the UK as well. We already work outside the UK and Europe and the US, but I think the acquisition strategy will eventually in the next 2 years get to a point where we start looking actively in those areas. I've never done it before, so it's going to be interesting and challenging and keeps it fun. And I like that because, you might run a business, but you don't want to be doing the same things forever. You want to be challenged, you want to learn, and you want to get more experience. So I'm loving it. But our mantra is we want to be 1,000 A teamers delivering top performance and creativity. Simple as that, brand plus performance. And I'm sure there'll be a few hurdles to jump, but we are passionate and dead set on creating that.
I love it. And I wish you all the best. And I can hear it in your voice, your passion, and that's over half the battle. So there's no doubt you're going to be successful.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm sure there'll be roadblocks and things that frustrate, but there always is. So
there always, exactly. It wouldn't be fun if there were.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, thank you so much, my friend, for your time. What a great, engaging, entertaining, and educational conversation. So thank you again for your time today.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Hey, I'm the guy from the video you just saw. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Now do yourself a favor. If you haven't already, subscribe to our content. Believe it or not, unconfirmed rumors and reports, you will see an increase in 20% in organic traffic just by subscribing. Okay, maybe not, but it's fun, right? But do yourself a favor, really. Subscribe to our content. You won't be sorry. Thanks.